First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to take in my half-brother after my dad kicked me out when I was 7 months pregnant? I, female 32, lost my mother when I was young. My dad met my stepmom and got married to her shortly. I have a half-brother and we grew up together. I was dealing with issues and resorted to the outside for support. I found out I was pregnant when I was 17 and my dad was mad at me. He took away my college fund and saved it for my brother. He and my stepmom told me I needed to get a job since I wasn't going to college and ended up telling me to leave the house when I was 7 months pregnant. I lived with my ex's family despite issues I had with my ex until my daughter was 2 years old. We got separated and moved out from my ex family house and rented a place that I paid for by working at a restaurant. My daughter is doing well and is concentrating on school and art. I heard that my half-brother dropped out of college and that he got involved in debts that my dad ended up paying for. My half-brother went back to live at his parents' house with his pregnant wife, but my dad couldn't pay mortgage anymore and decided to sell the house, pay for debts, and buy a small apartment. My half-brother never reached out nor tried to have a relationship with me. I met him at the restaurant and he started telling me about what happened with my dad. I tried to end the conversation since I wasn't feeling comfortable, and 2 days after that, my dad was at my door. I told him he wasn't allowed to come in after he started asking about my daughter and suddenly started to care. I asked him why he came, and he went on about his health problems, his daughter-in-law's issues with my stepmom, and how the apartment was unbearable with the constant fights and arguments. He asked if I could take in my brother, since his wife can no longer stay with them and causing issues. He said that my apartment was spacious and it's only me and my daughter there. He said that his son can't afford a rent right now and that I should take this chance to get to know him and his family better. I told him I can't take him in. I didn't want to bring it up, but I reminded him that he kicked me out when I was 7 months pregnant. My dad told me that I'm his sister and needed to help and asked if I'd react differently if he was not my half-brother. The argument went on. He told me to not try to punish him by using his son, and that my stepmom will then be right about me if I refuse. We haven't talked since, and I have mixed feelings about this. I feel awful, to be honest, and I don't even know how my daughter would react to this. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your father abandoned you in favor of his new family, and now that it's gone to crap, expects you to help him? Don't allow these people anywhere near you or your daughter. It's just too much for me to take. When I'm barely able to stand on my feet, I have experienced difficult times and my family didn't bother even ask how I was doing. They weren't even there for my daughter to try and have a relationship with her. My stepmom still feels the same about me and expects me to keep the peace. I think the best thing for you to do is to go no contact. Block them from all forms of communication and don't look back. Best of luck to you. Not the a-hole. Girl, no. Don't let him gaslight you into guilt. They kicked you out and forgot about you at one of the most vulnerable times in your life. Don't adjust anything for them. Your brother will figure it out if daddy stops saving him. You figured it out. No, ma'am. Don't allow any of this negativity into your space. And who cares what your stepmother thinks about you? She doesn't sign your checks. She doesn't pay your bills. And she doesn't help you with your child. Nope. Yeah, brother can go to a homeless shelter or something. Not the a-hole. He doesn't get to take away your college fund, give it to his son, then come back and ask for your help when his son squanders his opportunities. You're doing well for yourself and your daughter. And him adding that barb about his wife, who even cares what his wife thinks, especially after all this time? Stepmother couldn't even raise her own son to be independent and capable. What makes you think I care about her opinion? Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my youngest daughter that I cannot give her away at her wedding? Long backstory. I have 2 daughters, Anna, elder, and Carly, younger, who are a year apart. Carly and Anna were close when they were younger but drifted apart in their teenage years. I think she started resenting Carly because Carly always seemed to do well, academically and socially. Anna decided to take loans and go to a college she wasn't really a fan of. Carly got a full ride to Anna's dream college. Anna became very resentful after that. She was sure that Carly chose that college to rub it in Anna's face. I tried my best to accommodate them both. Anna refused to talk to Carly and didn't consent to any form of therapy. Carly refused to compromise as Anna kept being unreasonable. In the end, they both stopped talking to each other. Neither of them has ever asked me to choose between them. As long as I don't bring up the other or try to get them to reconcile, I have a good relationship with both of them. Now, Anna is a single mom with a 3-year-old kid, Alex, who is always in between jobs and in debt. Me and my now wife help out when we can. She receives a bit of child support, but I have to admit that she is struggling. Carly, on the other hand, lives comfortably, has an incredible job, and is living with her long-term boyfriend. Recently, Carly announced that her boyfriend proposed and that she wants to plan a wedding in 2022. She asked me to walk her down the aisle, and I may have cried a bit. However, Anna found out, and then she came over to my house and had a breakdown about how she always thought she would be the first to get married in the family, and she has always wanted me to give her away first. I tried to console her, but she ended up getting angry and told me that I should refuse to give away Carly or have a father-daughter dance with her at the wedding. At first, I refused, but she then threatened to cut off all contact between her/Alex and us. If Alex wasn't in the picture, I would have cut Anna off. As things stand, I need to consider Alex's well-being. Carly is staunchly child-free, and it's very possible that Alex is going to be my only grandchild. Without my help, Alex's life is just going to be much harder, and I cannot abandon Alex with a good conscience. While I understood that Carly would be upset, Alex was a child, and he is priority. I spoke to Carly, explained the situation. I told her that there was still time, and I would figure out a way to get Anna to change her mind. If not, I still promised her that I would still be very involved with her wedding, except those 2 things. Carly just laughed and told me not to bother with her anymore and told me she wasn't going to invite me to her wedding. I definitely know that Anna is an a-hole putting me in this position. But am I the a-hole for expecting Carly to be more understanding? Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. You're letting your daughter and her selfish wants win. You're not choosing Alex. You're choosing Anna over Carly. Shame on you. If I were you, I'd call Anna's bluff. She sounds like she's not doing too hot in life. My guess is she'd go no contact for a week before realizing she needs all the support she can get. I agree with this assertion. You would not be abandoning your grandchild. Anna would be purposefully taking him away from you. Sounds a bit like you were just giving in to the daughter who throws the biggest tantrum. It sucks to see parents choose the selfish, bratty kid because of the grandkids, yet throw away their other daughter who is obviously not as important as she isn't providing you with grandkids. You're the a-hole. Stop rewarding bad behavior. Carly deserves to be walked down the aisle by her dad. I would also be prepared to bet that if Anna ever gets married, she will still expect you to walk her down the aisle and throw a tantrum to make it happen. You're the a-hole. Holy crap, are you the a-hole? Your oldest child has been an abusive monster to your younger daughter for the better part of her life, and as you've described it here, you've been complicit in it. The fact that you would even remotely entertain Anna's insane demand, grandchild or no, shows how unsupportive you've been. If you want any hope of keeping Carly in your life, tell Anna she's being ridiculous and you're not going to allow her to dictate the terms of your relationship with Carly. Jesus Christ, I can't believe you need someone to tell you this. You're the a-hole 100%. Neither of them has ever asked me to choose between them. Well, Anna just asked, and you gave in to her immediately. You just chose your overly jealous daughter over what? The one that was more successful? Carly's being punished because she was better in school, more social, etc.? How is that fair? And using your reasoning as Carly will never give you grandchildren, is that the price of love to you? It sounds like Anna has been throwing herself a pity party because she doesn't want to come to terms with the fact that she is different than her sister. Not worse or better, but different. And you just validated her not coming to terms with that. I'm glad Carly uninvited you from the wedding. Who treats their daughter like that and still expects to be in their life? Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not following ex's wishes to not be involved with my son? Well, she was technically a fling, but I'll still say ex though. Anyways, I was a young and dumb 18-year-old who thought I was so cool for hooking up with an older married woman. She was 30, and that was considered older to me. I admit, it was not my proudest moment, but I was going through a bad time in my life and was making a lot of reckless choices. Things ended after 3 months and didn't hear from her again. Don't think I'll have enough characters to explain the whole story, so I will need to keep it brief. I found out we had a son together, Jay, who's now 20. He knew about me for years and found me. Her husband found out she cheated as soon as she got pregnant, but still stuck around while Jay was growing up. I never had a clue about his existence until now. When Jay reached out, he just wanted to get to know me, so we met up. From there, we started talking more regularly, and I learned about his home life. Jay doesn't get along with his dad at all, felt they were never close for as long as he can remember, and there was always this detachment that he didn't understand until he was told the truth. The more I spent time with Jay, the closer we became. It's made me feel sad, honestly, that I couldn't be in his life sooner, and feel like I missed so much. We talk to each other regularly, and he comes to my house almost every other weekend. Safe to say, we've bonded quite a lot. A couple nights ago, I was contacted by my ex, and she told me Jay has completely pulled away from her husband and doesn't want to speak to him. She feels my relationship with Jay is what's causing this and asked me to limit contact with him. When I refused, she berated me for causing them problems and said I don't even belong in his life when I've only been a dad less than a year. I ended up getting some things off my chest that I didn't get the chance to do before since finding out I had a son. Our fight didn't get anywhere, and I haven't spoken to her. I did talk to Jay about this, and he said whenever he visited, they fought, and Jay got tired of his controlling behavior. Turns out, they were also fighting because of the fact Jay was spending more time with me. While it makes me feel good that my son wants to spend time with me, I do feel guilty that it's caused him to distance himself from my ex-husband. I feel like my presence has made their strained relationship worse, and I don't know if I'm being a selfish a-hole here by not limiting my involvement. I have encouraged Jay to speak with him, but he seems set on not wanting any more to do with him. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. He deserves a relationship with you. It's great. You welcome him with open arms and are treating him with honest and caring respect. It's clear he doesn't get enough of that at home. Also, don't blame yourself for being young and dumb. You were only 18, and she was the experienced adult who should know better. I wonder what people would say if it was a 30-year-old man who impregnated an 18-year-old. Edit. In case it wasn't clear, my last comment is to imply that this woman sounds like a predator. 18 is so young, and I hate that OP blames himself when what she did was very shifty. As for the strain on the marriage is from her cheating, she should have known your son would come and find you eventually. Sounds like your son's mother and her husband thought, as long as you weren't in the picture, they could pretend to get past the cheating. Not the a-hole. Your son is a grown adult and can choose to spend time with whomever he wants. If his stepdad did a better job bonding with him as a child, then maybe he wouldn't cast him aside like he is doing now. This drama is on them. 1. The mom cheated with Opie. 2. Her husband stayed with her and resented the affair baby. 3. The mom never told Opie he was a dad, then gets all pissy because he's getting involved now and only knew him for a year, because he only learned of his existence a year ago. Yeah, I think this drama is on them sums it up pretty well. Not the a-hole. Wow, you have done everything right and nothing wrong. Sounds like Jay unfortunately has a bit of a toxic life at home. Jay is a grown man and can make his own choices. I feel sad for Jay that he has felt that detachment from his, let's call him stepfather, but realistically, Jay should be and feel supported to get to know you. I know this as a dad. If I was in his situation, I would support my son to meet his bio dad. Hopefully that made sense. If crap hits the fan, I'd be prepared to take him in and show him the fatherly love is obviously lacked for 20 years. It's what's made me regret my action the most, although I could never regret having Jay. He and his dad had to live with the consequences of our actions. Jay's been living on his own since he started college, so he's not currently living with them, but I'd still be willing to help out in the future if he ever needs it. I'm doing what I can to make up for the years we lost now. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.
Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé her tattoo of my dead brother makes me uncomfortable? Okay, so for context, my older brother, 30 male, I'm 29 male, passed away 3 years ago in a motorcycle accident. This messed me up severely, still does. He was my best friend, and we had that whole inseparable since we met kind of thing. Even though he was older, he was never the stereotypical older brother bully type, and I loved him for that. Anyway, my fiancée, who I'll call Bella, 28 female, met him only a few times, but always said she admired our bond since she has no real siblings of her own. Only step-siblings, but they aren't close. A few weeks ago, Bella surprised me with a tattoo she got in memory of my brother. It's a pretty big realistic grayscale tattoo of his face, with a little Snoopy icon beside it on her upper arm, with the nickname we used for him and his birth and death dates underneath. When I saw this, I was stunned. She said she did it as a tribute to him and to support me, because she knows how much I still struggle with grief. I honestly didn't know what to say at first, but the more I sat with it, the more it bothered me. I told her, as gently as I could to be honest, that I appreciated the gesture, but found the tattoo really uncomfortable. It's unsettling to see his face on my fiancé's body. It feels like too much, especially since they barely knew each other. She got upset and said I was being weird about a nice gesture and making her regret doing something beautiful, her words. Now she's distant, and my mom thinks I should just be thankful someone loved my brother enough to memorialize him. But first off, I didn't ask her to do this. Now I'm stuck with a fiancé who won't even talk to me properly, and my brother's perfectly black and gray eyes staring at me when I'm lying beside her. And honestly, I don't even want to think about how horrifying having sex would be with that on her arm. Am I being unreasonable? A-hole-ish? Is it within my right to ask her to get it covered up or removed? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It makes complete sense to feel uncomfortable by that. Yes, and isn't it totally weird to get his tat on her? Like she might be a little off plumb. Not really a fan of memorial portrait tattoos, and this seems even stranger. I'm actually feeling a little icky about it. I can't imagine, as you say, having sex with your brother's eyeballs staring at you. Not the a-hole. Does she have other tattoos? Is she known to be this impulsive? Why is your mom okay with a woman who barely knew him getting his face tattooed? Even if you were okay with it, what's going to happen in the future? People are going to assume he was her fiancé or her brother. And once they learn you are actually the fiancé, they're going to assume things. And if you have kids, they're going to have questions. Are you sure she's not having some kind of episode? For info, yes, my fiancé and I both have tattoos, plenty of them. And we're both the type to get tattoos linked to good memories or experiences. My latest tattoo was about 5 months ago for my childhood dog. Though, to be clear, I got a paw print with her name under it. A paw print, not a whole portrait of her. My fiancé has similar ones that are larger in scale, so her forearm tattoo with my brother's face isn't unusual aesthetically. It's just, it's my brother. Also, to my knowledge, she's been doing fine and has only been bitter these past few weeks because of my reaction. Not the a-hole. That's a wild overstep on her part. It's one thing to support you through grief. It's another to permanently tattoo your brother's face on her body when they barely knew each other. That's not a tribute. That's weirdly possessive of your grief and your bond with him. You have every right to feel uncomfortable seeing your late brother's face on your fiancé's arm every day, especially in intimate situations. It doesn't mean you don't appreciate the sentiment. It just crosses a line. She should have asked you before making such a huge decision involving someone so personal to you. Weirdly possessive of your grief is such a spot-on way to describe this. I really like that too, and while I think my fiancé didn't have any bad intentions regarding this, it does feel fitting. Next story. Am I the a-hole for taking my laptop back after my boyfriend's sister stole from us? I, 21 female, have a house with my boyfriend, 22 male. My boyfriend's sister, 17 female, feels like she has the right to enter our house at any time just because my boyfriend lives here too. Last night around 11:30 p.m., after my boyfriend and I had already fallen asleep, his sister walked into our house, which woke my boyfriend up. She asked if she could take a beer out of our fridge, and he told her no. She threw a fit and slammed our bathroom door. My boyfriend thought she would just leave after throwing her tantrum in the bathroom, so he came back to bed. After a while, we heard our front door slam. My boyfriend got up to lock it, and we thought that was the end of it. This morning, while putting groceries away, I opened the drawer in the fridge where we keep our alcohol, and it was completely empty. I had bought a 24-pack of Seagrams on Thursday and had only had one. So I asked my boyfriend if he had moved them somewhere else. He told me no and reminded me that his sister had asked for a beer. He said no and thought she left after that. I confronted her about it, and she basically told me that she used our bathroom and that her friend must have come into the house and taken them. This could technically be true, but my boyfriend only heard the door slam once after coming back to bed. The door won't close unless you slam it hard, so if it had been open long enough for the friend to grab the alcohol from the fridge and leave, my cat would have definitely run out of the house. So her story was a lie to keep herself out of trouble. After thinking about it, I told her I knew she was lying, and even if she wasn't, she let her friend steal from us. I told her she was being selfish and disrespectful. She went on a rant about how I was a witch, that I control my boyfriend, and that I'm not family to her anymore. When she said that, it pissed me off. On top of how mad I already was that she thinks she has the right to take things from my house just because her brother lives here. I went to her dad's house and told him that I was sorry, but they were going to have to figure out another way for her to do her schoolwork because I was taking my computer back since I wasn't family anymore. He was fine with this. Now she's even more pissed and telling my boyfriend that he's dead to her and telling him to get rid of me since I'm controlling. I have never been rude to her and have been there for her through breakups and hard times, but she treats me like this just because I'm upset that she stole from me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. We forgot to lock the house that night and didn't think much of it. We can only lock the house when we are there because our landlord lost the keys. We bought a new door handle, but it doesn't fit in the hole that is in the door. So we're waiting on our landlord to approve us drilling a bigger hole into the door for the new handle. Not the a-hole, but why does she have access to your house? You need to stop that from happening, and if your boyfriend is okay with his younger sister coming and going as she wants to and disrespecting you, then he needs to go too. He isn't, and he's told her this, but she's a brat and doesn't listen. It doesn't matter whether she's listening or not. There are steps he can take to prevent her accessing your house. It appears he hasn't done so. So a minor is just wandering out at night, stealing and drinking 24 beers? Does her dad give a damn about her at all? What is happening? It's obviously not your responsibility to deal with her, but I'm surprised her dad and brother don't seem to care. You should also secure your house properly. Not the a-hole. Her brother does care. He's pissed as well. Their dad says he's going to talk to her. There's no point in grounding her though because she doesn't listen, and she broke her phone so he can't take that away. Update. We got our new door handle in. I feel safe and my belongings are secure. His sister is still throwing a tantrum and has disowned us as family. She sent my boyfriend and me long paragraphs at 2 a.m. last night. She told my boyfriend that he never sticks up for her and always takes my side. This is the first time she and I have ever fought, and he's taking my side because he was also pissed that she was coming into our house and taking my stuff. She also told me that I need to grow up because I make every outing awkward and turn my boyfriend into a different person. His mom agrees with this, but believes I make him into a better, happier, goofier version of himself. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife we aren't getting a new car until she gets a job? My wife is a stay-at-home mom to our 2 kids, ages 15 and 13. I do most of the budgeting and finances, but I try to involve her. She's simply not interested, she says. We are comfortable financially, mostly because I've always avoided debt and been frugal. We also live in a low cost of living city, which helps a lot. My wife is the spender between us, and it seems she's always pushing the limits and wanting to spend more on lifestyle, mostly for her, like makeup, eyelashes, hair care, face creams, nails, waxing, etc. We set a budget of $800 for each of us to spend on whatever we want, but she always uses hers up and then wants me to pay for takeout or buy her things on Amazon because I don't even spend much. It's true, I mostly garden, hike, bike, and read, but I do save up sometimes for big-ticket items like a new Kindle or Scribe or a new bike. I've explained that it's not fair for her to ask for my spending money just because she spends hers quickly. Recently, we paid off our mortgage because I had been paying extra every month, and she said, "Good, now we can buy a new car." I refused and said that money is going toward our investment accounts so we can have a comfortable retirement. When we met, we always talked about retiring early and traveling the world, and we still have regular conversations about it. So I don't think she's changed her mind, unless it was in the past month. Anyway, she was mad, saying that I was a tightwad and asking why we need to save so much in retirement accounts if we can die tomorrow. One of our cars is a 2017 and the other is a 2014. We paid for both in cash when we bought them, and they've been nothing but reliable. She said our cars were old and that she wants a new one and seems pretty set on the idea. I told her, "Fine, we can buy a new car once you get a job and you've been working for at least a year." She was furious with that comment and said I was an a-hole and a cheapskate. I told her, "Look, I only want what's best for our future, and the kids will be starting college soon. We need to save more for that too. Plus, maybe once they go to college in a few years, we can get a nice used car in cash if we start saving for it now." She didn't like that response either and is now giving me the silent treatment. I feel like I'm the responsible villain, and she is the happy-go-lucky one that has no care in the world. For reference, our income is $140,000, and we are in our mid-30s. She's never held a job because she's always been a stay-at-home mom. Paying off the mortgage to me is a huge relief, and I want to put that extra money to good use. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. She's already effectively retired. Why would she much care about early retirement? Lol, that's true. Harsh but true. Sorry, I probably worded that too sharply. She's got little motivation to want retirement, from what you say. I know that it's something I think about and wish for constantly, as I'm in a very, very high-stress job. I can't imagine that I'd give two hoots about retirement if I had total freedom and plenty of money in my pocket. The only one retiring in your plans is you. She's not changing anything in retirement other than perhaps actually losing some freedom and autonomy, and some of her spending money by having your company full-time. Yeah, financial incompatibility is a big one. Honestly, why doesn't she have a job already? The kids have been in school for quite a while. She tries to act like what she does around the house justifies staying home, but I know she could at least work part-time. Her life isn't that busy. Take her $800 monthly allowance and use for her car, and don't give her any extra. This is a good compromise, but I doubt it'll fix anything. Would probably create more arguing. Your wife just wants to be the spoiled kid for the rest of her life and do none of the monetary work. I've seen it with own family members and family friends. Not sure how to change it, as it only seems to get worse with age. I wouldn't be surprised if she used divorce against you at some point. Which, realistically, you would be in the same financial situation either way. Maybe even better to split up if after the kids turn 18. That is, after trying counseling and she's still not willing to be on the same page financially. Frivolous spending is a disease, especially when they aren't doing the work for the money themselves. Last story. Am I the a-hole for blocking my wife after she wouldn't stop calling me at work? I, 27 male, work night shifts away from home in a dangerous job where I'm responsible for a team's safety. Yesterday, I had just woken up and was getting ready for work when my wife, 25 female, texted saying she wasn't doing well and wanted to talk. I took her call even though I was exhausted and short on time. We talked for about 20 minutes. I mostly listened, but at one point I said we both need to work on our relationship, and that while I take responsibility for a lot, I can't take all of it. She got angry. I said I was hurt that she wouldn't hear my side. She hung up. After that, she started calling and texting me nonstop. She told me I was hurting her and had to answer. I told her I needed space and to stop. She didn't. She even started calling my work phone. This went on for about 2 hours, to the point where I had to block her just so I could focus on my job. She's now saying I abandoned her, that I'm controlling, emotionally abusive, and don't care about her. She threatened to show up at my workplace if I didn't answer. She even got her mom and friends to call me. I feel like I was just trying to protect my boundaries and my ability to do my job safely, but she says I was cruel and abusive for shutting her out. Am I the a-hole for blocking her and refusing to talk until I feel safe? Added for context, my wife and I have been together for 9 years. No kids. I work away from home on 2-week rotations, 4 hours away. I'm currently 6 days into this shift. I grew up with a narcissistic mother and was the family scapegoat. I cut contact 7 years ago. I've always been a people pleaser and took on blame just to keep the peace. I've been in therapy for 5+ years and still struggle with shame and self-image, but I've made progress. Our relationship has always been difficult. We both came from broken homes. We've each done individual therapy, and we tried couples counseling but stopped at her request. About 6 months ago, I got a new boss who triggers a lot of my old wounds. It's forced me to learn boundaries and to be okay with being disliked. That's been really hard, but also necessary. I know I've been bringing some of that stress home, and I'm working on it in therapy. For years, I avoided conflict and just agreed with my wife. Recently, I've started speaking up instead of fawning. That's been a big shift for us. I've arranged coverage at work and am taking a couple of days off because my team's safety is the top priority. I knew I wasn't in the right headspace. I don't know what this means for our relationship yet, but I know I need time to process. Thanks to everyone for the support. It means a lot. I think it's your wife who's controlling, emotionally abusive, and doesn't care about you. Don't lose your job over it. Exactly. At this point, OP had to block her to protect his professionalism on the job and be able to focus on the safety of the team. Holy crap, this is not just projection, but projection amplified. OP can't just drop everything because the wife demands to talk. I don't know what the dynamic of the relationship is, or where the conflict is, or who did what to whom and why, but even if he were the biggest POS in the world, lives are on the line, and she cannot simply summon him at a whim like that. You're not the a-hole. She's an adult. She wasn't dying or giving birth. Her response was absurd and manipulative. The fact she sent others after you as well suggests she's used to getting tended to. What's wrong with her? Is this really the relationship you want? Because this snapshot doesn't look great. If she's threatening to come to your work and sending people to call and disrupt you at work, the relationship has run its course. She's endangering your safety and those of your coworkers because she can't get her way. This is not acceptable. Not the a-hole. Best lawyer up ASAP. Doesn't mean you need to file. Just start preparing. Tell whoever calls to mind their business. Tell your wife to start taking responsibility for her behavior, or the marriage will be over.